Thanks. Thank you so much for that. It's been an emotional day. I think I lost it when they played Philip's song, Thomas musical, suddenly just couldn't take it. But I think Pete was a bit tearful as well. It's intrinsically Philip. If you want to know who he was, listen to that song. And I think the quote of the day also came from Pete when he said, he used to say to Steve in the studio, I think Philip's being a bit, that was Philip for me. But anyway, I just wanted to thank everybody who came here today and everyone who contributed. I've certainly learned a lot about my brother, which I didn't know before. I'm amazed I lived with him for so long and didn't know this. But anyway, to finish, we're going to hear one last song sung by Philip. And I kind of wanted this song because it tells us really who Philip was. And this song has particular significance in a world today where the lines between racism, nationalism, imperialism, innocence and blame are constantly blurred and confused by disinformation and ignorance. The song is called The Captains and the Kings, and it was written by Brendan Behan and taken from his 1958 play called The Hostage. The play deals with the theme of innocence set against a sinister background of the political motives and ambitions of determined individuals. The song was recorded by Phil in 1993 and was produced by Elvis Costello, and it was released on the input record. And here's what Philip himself had to say about the reception of the record on the release. It's nice to have some of Philip's own words here today to talk. He said, there's been a lot of misunderstanding about this record. I've had people say that it's a racist record, Irish racism. He said, I think obviously to some extent it failed because it didn't make clear to everybody that it actually isn't racist, it's just anti-imperialist. Behan had an impish sense of humour. I think it was him parodying Irish attitudes to English attitudes, which is the strongest case for it not being anti-British. But that's a very subtle point, only something I learned when I started working on the song. That's the end of his quote. And so, just as a final thought from me, we know that theatre and art is about interpretation and reception. It's inclusive of everyone. I think this is at the nub of Phil's love of the arts. He was a hugely inclusive person who would not accept nor condone any form of imperialism, racism, or social exclusions. Within the arts, I think he knew that he had found a safe place to become and remain the fair-minded, heterogeneous, and creative person who he instinctively knew himself to be from a very, very young age. Music, writing, and performing became his way of coping with the monstrous inequalities which exist in this world, a world which has a disdain for being different. And he had been marked as different from early on. Thank you.
I remember in September when the final stumps were drawn and the shouts of crowds now silent and the boys to tea were gone. Let us, O Lord above us, still remember simple things when all are dead who love us, oh, the captains and the kings. When all are dead who love us, oh, the captains and the kings. We have many goods for export, Christian ethics and old port, but our greatest boast is that the Anglo-Saxon is a sport. On the playing fields of Eton, we still do thrilling things. Do not think not think we'll ever weaken of the captains and the kings. Far away in dear old Cyprus, or in Kenya's dusty land, where all bear the white man's burden in many a strange land. As we look across our shoulder in West Belfast, the school bell rings, and we sigh for dear old England and the captains and the kings. And we sigh for dear old England and the captains and the kings. I wandered in a nightmare all around Great Windsor Park, and what do you think I found there as I stumbled in the dark? 'Twas an apple half bitten, and sweetest of all things, 5 baby teeth had written of the captains and the kings. 5 baby teeth had written of the captains and the kings. By the moon that shines above us in the misty morning night, let us cease to run ourselves down, but praise God that we are white. And better still, we're English, tea and toast and muffin rings, and our ladies with stern faces, and the captains and the kings. Our ladies with stern faces, and the captains and the kings.